Last night, I was working the graveyard shift at the Old Mountain Tunnel checkpoint, and I finally understood why nobody lasted more than 3 nights in this job. My name is Marcus, and I've been unemployed for 6 months when I saw the listing. Night shift security, Mountain Tunnel checkpoint. $500 per night. No experience necessary. The pay seemed too good, but I was desperate. The checkpoint sat at the entrance to the Coldwater Tunnel, a 2-mile passage carved through the mountain in the 1960s. My supervisor, a gaunt man named Mr. Hendricks, handed me a clipboard and a flashlight on my first night. 3 rules, he said, his voice barely above a whisper. 1. Log every vehicle that passes through between midnight and 6 a.m. 2. If anyone asks to use the phone in the booth, tell them it's broken. 3. If you hear knocking on the booth windows after 3 a.m., don't look up. Just keep writing. I laughed nervously. Is this some kind of hazing ritual? His expression didn't change. The last guy ignored Rule 3. We found his resignation letter the next morning. He left town that same day. The first 2 hours were uneventful. A few trucks rumbled through, their drivers barely acknowledging me as I logged their plate numbers. The mountain loomed above, dark and imposing, the tunnel mouth like a gaping throat leading into absolute darkness. At 2:47 a.m., the radio in the booth crackled with static, then went dead. My phone had no signal. It never did up here. I was alone. That's when I saw the first car. A vintage sedan, maybe from the 1970s, emerged from the tunnel. But something was wrong. Its headlights were off, and I could see through the windows. There was no driver. The car rolled past my checkpoint, silent except for the crunch of gravel under its tires, and disappeared down the mountain road. I didn't log it. My hand was shaking too much. At 3:15 a.m., the knocking started. 3 sharp raps on the booth window behind me. I remembered Rule 3 and kept my eyes fixed on the logbook, my pen frozen above the paper. The knocking came again, more insistent this time. Then a voice, muffled but clear. Marcus, I need to use the phone. How did it know my name? I hadn't told anyone up here except Mr. Hendricks. It's broken, I managed to say, my voice cracking. Silence. Then, no it's not. I can see it right there. Please, Marcus. My daughter is in the tunnel. She needs help. Every instinct screamed at me to turn around, to help. But I gripped the pen harder and stared at the logbook. The knocking continued, growing frantic, accompanied by scratching sounds like fingernails on glass. This went on for 17 minutes. I know because I watched every second tick by on the clock. Then abruptly it stopped. At 4:33 a.m., headlights appeared from inside the tunnel. A modern SUV emerged, driving normally. I stepped out to log the plate number, grateful for human contact. But as the vehicle slowed, I saw the driver's face in the dim light of my flashlight. It was me. Same uniform, same terrified expression. The SUV me mouthed something through the window. Don't go in the tunnel. Then the vehicle accelerated and vanished into the night. I stood there, frozen, until another sound made my blood run cold. Footsteps, coming from inside the tunnel. Slow, deliberate, echoing off the concrete walls. I backed toward the booth, my flashlight beam shaking as I pointed it at the tunnel entrance. A figure emerged from the darkness. It walked with an unnatural gait, its limbs too long, its head tilted at an impossible angle. As it entered the pale light, I saw its face, or where a face should have been. Just smooth, pale skin with 2 dark hollows where eyes might once have existed. It stopped at the edge of the checkpoint, just beyond the yellow line painted on the ground. Then it spoke in that same muffled voice from earlier. Your shift ends at 6 a.m., Marcus. We'll be waiting. I ran. I didn't grab my jacket, didn't clock out, didn't look back. I got in my car and drove down that mountain road faster than I've ever driven in my life. When I reached town at dawn, I went straight to Mr. Hendricks's house. He answered the door, looking unsurprised. You made it to morning, he said. Most don't make it past 4 a.m. on their first night. What the hell is up there? I demanded. He sighed and invited me in. Over coffee, he explained that the tunnel was built over an old burial ground. During construction in 1967, 12 workers died in a collapse. Their bodies were never recovered. They're still entombed somewhere in those walls. Every night, they try to come back, he said. The checkpoint isn't there to monitor traffic. It's there to keep them from leaving the mountain. As long as someone is watching, logging, maintaining the boundary, they can't cross. If the checkpoint is abandoned, even for one night. He didn't finish the sentence. Why didn't you warn me? I asked. Would you have believed me? Everyone has to experience it themselves. Now you know why the pay is so good. I told him I quit. He nodded, pulled out an envelope of cash, $500 for one night, and handed it to me. I understand. Most people quit after the first night. But Marcus, remember, you saw yourself driving out of that tunnel. Whatever that means, I think you're going to end up back there eventually. That was 3 weeks ago. Every night since, I've had the same dream. I'm in that booth, the knocking starts, and this time I turn around. I see what's behind that window. And every morning, I wake up screaming. Last night, I drove back up to the mountain. I don't know why. My car seemed to steer itself. When I reached the checkpoint, the booth was empty. The logbook said open on the desk, and on the last page, in handwriting I didn't recognize, was written, Marcus returns tonight. I'm here now. It's 11:47 p.m. My shift starts in 13 minutes. The tunnel mouth is dark waiting, and I can already hear footsteps echoing from deep within. I don't think I'm leaving this mountain. If you're watching this, tell my family I'm sorry. And whatever you do, if you see a job listing for a night shift at a mountain tunnel checkpoint, keep scrolling. Some jobs aren't worth any amount of money.